This week, a World Bank team is visiting St. Martin to finalize their assessments for the emergency debris management project. This project of $25 million is in the final stages of preparation. It consists of activities to clear the remaining hurricane debris on our island and to remove shipwrecks in the Simpson Bay Lagoon. Moreover, the project seeks to close down the Irma dump and manage the landfill more effectively in the shortest possible term, specifically focusing on improved management of the construction and demolition waste. In order to make this project a success, the government of St. Martin asked the public to pay close attention to the separation of debris prior to delivering it to the landfill or the Irma dump. One of the top priorities in the emergency debris management project will be the suppression of the ongoing fires on the landfill. As part of the World Bank mission, a team of fire expression experts is on the island right now, and they are working with the Interim Recovery Committee, the Ministry of ROMI, the Ministry of VSA, and the Fire Department to design an action plan to solve this issue that has been on the political agenda ever since this country came into existence. Everyone wants these fires to be eliminated as soon as possible. Over the past months, this government has been working intensively with the World Bank and also the government of the Netherlands to prepare the first fully financed project that will address the long-burning fires inside the dump. To the people of St. Martin, I would like to be very frank and clear, however. Everyone needs to be fully aware that this operation requires thorough planning and preparation. The suppression of the suppression of the fires inside the dump is a dangerous operation, and we need to be able to address potential risks before starting this project. A sustainable solution for this very complex issue cannot be presented to us in too short a time frame. I therefore ask you to bear with us while a dedicated team of professionals is preparing to eradicate these fires once and for all. Moving on, the Road Paving Patching Maintenance Program 2018 is scheduled to kick off next week due to a minor delay. A number of roads in the different districts will be repaired, either by patching or repaving. The Department of Public Works has put together an extensive list, and works which are expected to continue for the remainder of the year will first focus on the main roads and then move over to the secondary roads. The ministry will strive to have as little interruption to the traffic flow as possible. However, I do ask the community to bear with any minor inconveniences that may be caused. Moving on, a new tender, which is the security services at the landfill and the Vrummy Yard 2018, will soon be published by the ministry in the media within the coming days. Tender documents can be obtained at the Department of Infrastructure Management and will be available digitally as of tomorrow, Thursday, August 23rd. An information meeting will be held at the office of the Department of Infrastructure Management on August 30th at 10 a.m. I invite all interested parties to come and be part of this meeting. The deadline for submitted bids is September 13th at 10 a.m. Furthermore, information about the tender procedure and the project can be obtained at the Department of Infrastructure Management. Later on today, Vrummy will be hosting a National Spatial Data Infrastructure, or NSDI, consultation seminar, where we will be reviewing the proposed NSDI approach for St. Martin. The NSDI is a critical vehicle for facilitating seamless data development, information sharing, and collaborative decision-making across multiple sectors of the economy. The system is already being used by several agencies on the island, and this session seeks to bring those stakeholders closer together to introduce them to the proposed approach and allowing them to give feedback and recommendations. The opportunity will also be used to share some very relevant documents with those stakeholders that are being prepared on a global level with the UN Economic and Social Council Committee of Experts on the Global Geospatial Information Management. I look forward to reporting on the success of this meeting in a future press briefing. And finally, I would like to once again take the opportunity, as I have done in the previous press briefings, to remind the general public to make a conscious and consistent effort to properly dispose of their household garbage and goods in an effort to keep our community clean. The ministry is making a concentrated effort to keep the garbage haulers accountable to the terms of their contracts. However, we have also taken note of several instances where garbage is being dumped not in designated bins, but alongside the roadsides, in ditches and other undesirable places. These actions are counterproductive and only create unsightly, unhygienic mess. Please stop this. I cannot say it more clearly and plainly than that. We live on a beautiful paradise. Let us all do our part to keep it so.
Tell them, connecting you.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGE.
Most of my questions were already answered, but I still have a few. I would like to know what were the obstacles faced by APS in the Oryx Hill property development, and also what is the interest rate on the homes that you are selling. As shown in the presentation, APS also made investments in the Rainforest Adventures project. I would like to know how the investment is going, and are you forecasting a positive return on investment for the first year? And through you, Mr. Chairman, to the Honorable Minister Geerlings. This is a bit off topic, but while speaking to a lot of pensioners in the community, besides the cost of living, one of their main concerns and the question that I keep getting is, why if we pay tax for all our years, we still get tax on our pension? I don't know if you can clarify that for me, please.
In my previous profession, I worked with the St. Martin Tourist Bureau, and one of the topics that came up in my profession with the APS was one that was brought to our attention with Royal Caribbean, and I want to really start there. I can't say I have all of the details, which is why I'm just going to ask the questions. Apparently, the Royal Caribbean company, the cruise lines, was under some sort of expectation to get into investments with APS. Something went wrong there, and at some point there was a feeling, I guess, it got pretty contentious, to be frank. I mean, some of the management team of Royal Caribbean, you know, it got pretty heated, let me put it that way. I would just like to hear, I know a lot of these information might not be something that you can give to us publicly. Perhaps this is something the minister then can get this information to us in writing, but anything you can share with the involvement or with Royal Caribbean. The reason I ask this is because, like MP Heiliger said, I think it's important for us to focus on, of course, the local investments that are being made, but we do know that a portion of your investments go abroad. Even in the presentation, it does outline some of these risks. So I would like to know if anything transpired from that. Are we still investing with this cruise line? And has this, from your knowledge and from the minister's perspective, have you had any communication with the company to ensure that there's no bad blood, so to speak, with what might have happened with this issue, if it does exist? Again, I am going based on my own previous interaction with the cruise line, and perhaps since then things can be a lot better, but I would be very remiss to not ask the question today. One of the things I also that want to understand in terms of the investment priorities, do you have a particular priority list in terms of what do you consider the most important type of investment that the fund should make? Is it in housing? Is it in infrastructure? Is it simply, well, what is the most profitable with the lowest risk? Or do you also consider what the needs for St. Martin are? I think I have to echo the sentiment that housing is a urgent issue for St. Martin. So I would like to know how high up that ranks in your priority list in terms of choosing investments. Indeed, MP Heiliger was referring to a report that I also read recently. This was the compliance audit. Based on what he said there, I would assume it's this report. It was a compliance audit of the General Audit Chamber on the pension fund for 2015's financial statements. It was delivered in March of 2017 to Parliament. In preparation for this meeting, I did peruse it a bit. Generally, I have to say that a lot of the findings and seeing your presentation was very valuable, because I can already see that some of the things that were found in 2015 you have vastly improved upon. For example, if you look at the concern that they had about the coverage ratio at the time being just 93.2%, I see that you have, kudos to you for actually improving upon that significantly. I didn't see in the presentation some of the other issues, so I do want to ask to see if you've had some similar improvements in this regard. One of the concerns the General Audit Chamber had was about a claim that the APS has with the General Pension Fund of Curaçao. This claim has increased as of December 31st, 2015 to 25.8 million guilders. The General Pension Fund did not confirm the claim in writing, but apparently it is on the book somehow. Can you give to Parliament any clarity as to what is this claim on the General Pension Fund of Curaçao? Does this have to do with when we made a change in terms of country status? And is this a realistic collectible debt in your opinion? We'd want to also know that if this is on your books, that it is something that we're still negotiating and still hopeful to collect. There were some other minor issues, well, let me not say minor, but some issues that I believe could have been addressed based on these findings, with meeting certain deadlines with regards to the deadlines for financial statements, just any indications if you've had success in meeting the obligations. I can imagine, of course, post-Irma, that might have been difficult, but in 2016 and parts of 2017, how has it been for the General Pension Fund living up to the requirements in terms of the General Audit Chamber, but also to the Ministry of Finance? Like I said, I think the other findings that were there have been pointed out very well in your presentation, so won't really go into that any further. One of the other points, and it was just raised, is in terms of investments. I also have some serious concerns, and I've expressed this in other meetings, with the situation of the airport, their bondholders, and their ability or lack thereof to seek financing necessary. What interactions can the APS share that you've had with the airport for possibilities of joining the effort to seek financing for the rebuilding of the airport. You know, it's hard as parliamentarians to say what is more important or not, because housing is important, a hospital is important, your electricity company is important, but the root of everything that comes to St. Martin is via our airport primarily, and the state that our airport is in right now is something that hurts every single investment in St. Martin. So I would encourage and hope that the pension fund and the Ministry of Finance is seriously looking at this situation in terms of the financial situation of the airport. We've learned that they are in a technical default. That is still a very technical term, but that can escalate. And if St. Martin has its own means to remedy that situation, then I think we don't have to always rely on wishes from world banks and other entities. If our local entities can participate and find a way to help the situation with our airport.
Hey ma, how you doing? You busy?
I hear, just paying some bills, taking care of business, you know what it is?
I know, you're doing your online banking.
I don't have to stand in those long lines to pay bills. I can transfer when I want. I can check my account wherever. It's like the bank open 24/7. I even here checking the statement right now as we're talking. How's Miami?
Well, that's why I'm calling. I'm finishing up a few songs now, but I'm afraid that studio time might be more than I thought. And I was wondering if I could get some help with some funds, and I could pay you back as soon as I get back to St. Martin.
Let me check my account. How much you need?
I think 500 should be enough.
I can transfer it to you while online. Direct from me to you. No problem.
Great. Thank you so much, Ma. I'll get online with Viv now.
Alright, darling. You know who you're for?
I need to know who you're for.
Contact Wib today for your complete personal online banking experience. Available for all mobile devices. The Wynwood Islands Bank, now your online banking partner in progress.
Who you're for.
Tell them. Connecting you.
So I would like to know then, how much cash does APS actually have then to invest? Given the fact that there are limited possibilities for investments on the island locally for APS is basically getting creative and now creating your own opportunities like real estate, which you don't really see in bigger countries and pension funds because they are just opportunities to invest in. If you look at the ratio, which was mentioned 60-40, how much of the 60% ratio is actually used to invest on St. Martin? And in the opinion of APS, and looking at the 60-40 rule, what is the opinion of APS in shifting the balance of the 60-40? Let's say to go to 50-50 or even 40-60. So 60 in the foreign investments and then 40% locally, especially if the amount that we have to invest in locally is becoming an issue and we're not even reaching the point of using the 60%. In your presentation, you mentioned that an exemption was used to pass the 40%. What exemption was that? Have there been any discussions with the APS and the central bank concerning the ratio? And what was the response from the central bank? The coverage ratio was below the central bank's 100% even prior to Irma. What was the cause of this at that time? Has the volatility in the US market have any major effects on our funds? You mentioned a return on investment of 5.5% to 6.7% on the Mary Fancy project. Am I to assume that the APS will create the hotel, the estate, construct it, and then lease the whole estate out? Or that APS themselves become managers or get into the hospitality industry? I believe this is already asked, but finance of the homes, at what interest rate are the homeowners getting? And how is this process going to happen? Does APS have enough staff to handle the requests and processes of the demand? Because you also mentioned that you're looking at the local bank, so I'm assuming part of the administration then will be handled by the local bank, or will APS increase administration to handle the requests? And I saw you had in brackets in the presentation the word affordable, which is a very interesting and subjective word. So what is in APS's opinion affordable on St. Martin? And how did APS come up with a $250,000 figure for being affordable in St. Martin? Also, was that the starting prices for the homes, and are there any higher price ranges? You also mentioned that there were 300 requests that already presented themselves. Were these requests that already qualify for the $250,000 loan, or just 300 people requested information on the houses? And a little side question, is there a model pension fund out there that APS would like to model itself after, or is there a leader in the pension fund market that APS looks to? And a suggestion to the APS and also to the Minister of TIAT, you mentioned, through you, Minister of Finance, you mentioned the parking facility and the fact that it could actually cause traffic issues in the area. A suggestion that I had even a year ago is to also include in the parking facility a bus terminal. So if that could be taken up somehow in the design process and even discussed with the Minister of TIAT and Romy.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
All my warriors,